Now the democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy.
Hello, welcome to Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. Distinct Politics is brought to you by Distinct Radio, the US #1 Nigerian community radio. You can listen to our live stream at www.distinctradio.com or download the TuneIn app on your smart devices and search for DNC Radio. DNC Radio. D like David, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, and radio. And you'll be on to our live stream. I welcome you all to the special episode of Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. And I'm still your host, and my name is Casey Badru. And very soon I should be having my commentators with me on the show. So we shall be discussing about corruption in Nigeria. And we shall be looking at the state of emergency, the extension letter that was sent by the president sent to the House of Representatives and the House and the Senate for approval to extend the state of emergency in the three states where we have been having issues. Where the insurgent has been very, very active. So we shall be looking at that, and again, we may talk a little bit about the fracas that happened at the National Assembly this week as well. We shall be looking at that. So once again, if you're on the go, this is the number you can call to be part of the segment. The number to call will be 857-232-0137. Once again, it's 857-232-0137. And that's the number to call to be part of the segment. And again, the name of the segment is Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. It comes up every Saturday, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And maybe for Nigeria and the UK, it comes up about 7 p.m. UK time and 8 p.m. Nigerian time. So I'll be having 2 or 3 of my commentators today. Hopefully they can join. I'll be having Comrade Dele Olawale all the way from Norway. So as you all know, he's the national chairman of Nigeria United Against Corruption, NWAC, and I'll be having a comrade with us as well. He'll be joining remotely all the way from Maryland, and we shall be looking at them at corruption. So corruption in the land. So how do we go about it? How do we contain? And how do is it possible to eradicate corruption? Is it possible to eradicate corruption, or we just have to minimize corruption to the barest minimum? So we shall be looking at that because Nigeria we've come a long way. We've come a long way today, and we started our democracy back in 1999. And now we are in 2014, and we should be having an election within the next less than 3 months. We should be having an election in 2015. So, as I was just trying to tell you the topic, my comrade has joined remotely, just like I stated. So he had joined all the way from Norway. So I want to use this medium to welcome Comrade Dele Olawale. Welcome to Distinct Politics.
Thank you very much, and nice to be with you this beautiful afternoon and beautiful evening.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We welcome you on board, and good. So before you came in, I was just trying to tell our audience out there that we will be looking at some issues unfolding in Nigeria. So this week was full of drama. So we saw the fracas that happened in the National Assembly gates, and we shall be looking at corruption as well, which is one of your majors. So we shall be looking at corruption in Nigeria. So how do we go about reducing if we can't now really eradicate it immediately? So how do we reduce corruption? So we need to talk about corruption and know what are the components of corruption. So how do we classify corruption? Because if I recall correctly, the president himself said, well, the issue with Nigeria is not corruption, it's actually stealing. So maybe comrade, you'll be I guess you'll be able to do more justice to that. So to differentiate between stealing and corruption. So we shall be looking into that today. And the last but not the least will be, will be the extension. So the extension of the state of emergency in the 3 states, Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno. So we shall be looking at that. But before we quickly go into that, so you saw what happened at the gate of the National Assembly this week. You saw the video.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So that is what our democracy has actually become. So the police can do whatever they want to do. So we'll have to look that briefly. So maybe we should use that as our eyes breaker for this for the show today before other comrades join. And
okay.
Okay, so this is, I have a report. The report says chaos breaks out at the National Assembly as lawmakers jump gate to gain access into the House. There was a pandemonium in Nigeria National Assembly that was on Thursday as security agents fired tear gas in an attempt to block the Speaker of the Representative, Aminu Tambuwal, from entering the complex. Some 1,000 soldiers and policemen that morning sealed the entrance of the National Assembly in Abuja and physically prevented the Speaker of the House from entering. The Speaker of the House, Aminu Tambuwal, arrived at the National Assembly with a view to preside over the sitting of the House, but fears looking at troops posted to stop him at the gate. A fracas was Senate President David Mack orders. Okay, so that's the report. So David Mack had to intervene, and they had to postpone the sitting to next week Tuesday. So what was your take? I mean, what was your reaction when you saw our lawmakers jumping fence and jumping the gate? So what was your reaction when you saw the video?
Yeah, it's one of those videos. One of those pictures that if you go to, if you school in Nigeria, you would have been accustomed to that kind of pictures. We are school's children have to jump the fence because they came late to the school. And the gate has already been closed. So most of the time you have to climb the fence to get into the school. It reminds you of that. It's a kind of reminder that Nigeria has actually not grown. Despite all the years of experience that we can claim, more than 60 years after, we are still what we are. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
It's a kind of national disgrace, actually. When I saw that kind of video, and then I saw the people jumping, and then I saw the reaction here and there, and I said, okay, this is a national disgrace to the country. And then I saw a post. I subscribe to this Nigerian police stuff on Facebook. And then there was a caption, actually, which is of interest to me. Are they these lawmakers or lawbreakers? And I was the first to react to that post from the Nigerian police. Who are you to judge who is a lawbreaker. If they are lawbreakers, have you made any arrests?
Yeah.
Why are you using the social media to call lawmakers lawbreakers? In civilized environment, I know the IGP must have been summoned by now, and has to comment on that kind of caption. It's like the Nigerian police, they are dragging themselves into politics, which is completely bad, which is very bad for the democracy.
For the democracy in Nigeria, exactly.
Even if they are being dragged to be used, they should be able to say that, this is a political issue. We don't have the capability. We don't have the power.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we still operate as if we are in kangaroo, or we are in the jungle, or we are under dictatorial regime, which is bad, which is very, very bad for democracy. And those people, those lawmakers too, that jump to that were jumping the gate. Jumping the gate is not the action. It's not the answer to whatever they want to do. They are lawmakers. They should be able to use the law to open that gate. Not that they should be jumping, Can't they go to court? Can't they do this? Can't they summon this? Can't they summon do so? There are many options that they could have adopted.
Okay.
Instead of just jumping the fence and then disgracing themselves. What about if somebody fall on that? From that place, they don't think about. They don't even think about safety to their own well-being.
Okay, Comrade Adeite is trying to join, but we're having some technical difficulties. So, Comrade Adeite, if you can hear me, I would suggest you try to join from your contact list. Don't join from previous attempts you've made in the past. So, I will send you a message on how to connect. So you're trying to connect with multiple calls, and I guess it's just you. So, okay, so. No, he's still not getting it. I guess we should go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Comrade, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go. Yes, let's go on a quick break.
Okay.
So we cry, we complain and cry. We no ready to fight. Oh no, because we wait for Jesus Christ to come down with Him shining light or something. Because nobody ready to
democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's still having difficulty joining, and I hope he could join. And it's just that the route he's trying to take is not the right route. It's gonna screw up. I'm sorry to use the word screw. It's gonna disturb everything in the studio. So, but if you could connect with your personal cell phone, you can try that. You can use your cell phone as opposed trying to do Skype. So the Skype isn't coming the right way. Just for the benefit of our listeners out there, welcome back to Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. Distinct Politics is brought to you by Distinct Radio, the U.S. #1 Nigerian community radio. You can listen to our live stream at www.distinctradio.com, or you can simply call this number on the go, 857-232-0137. Once again, it's 857-232-0137. So that's the number to call to be part of the segment. So he got it now. So he's on. All right, Mr. Comrade Adeite is on. Are you on?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome on board. Welcome to the Parliament. Hope you didn't jump the gate.
No, I didn't.
I guess he was trying to jump the gate, and I'm like, no, you can't, don't jump the gate, please. All right, comrade, are you there? Comrade,
Yes, I am.
okay, yeah, DOO is actually on with us, so he's on the show. So we've been talking about the fracas, the pandemonium that happened this past Thursday at the National Assembly in Nigeria. So the lawmakers were actually they jumped fenced, so they had to jump the gate. They had to force their way in to the National Assembly, and the police actually fired some tear gases and things like that. So there was an interview, kind of like a chat with the police PRO. So I'm gonna play this, and I'll let Miss Comrade Adeite to react, and I'll come back to Comrade Dele Olawole. So let's listen to what the police had to say about what happened. So one moment, please. Okay. All right. Before we'll come back to the clip. Okay. What's your reaction, Comrade Adeite?
It's mixed feelings for me. Number one, looking at the way grown-ups were scaling fences, it's shameful.
It's shameful.
It's shameful. But then I looked deeper into it. Why were they scaling the fence?
Okay.
Why were some people allowed to enter the complex and the other people were not allowed to enter? The police commissioner for FCT, Mr. Ojukwu.
Yeah, Ojukwu. Yeah.
Watching him in the interview yesterday, he said they have intelligence report. Now, my simple analogy is this: you are my security man. You are supposed to be guarding my office. You have intelligence report. I am the CEO of that company. You do not tell me. You seal off my office. That is not proper.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I want us to discuss today, because the way they paint in the picture now is like the presidency, the executive arm is not involved. It's like it's something we're not in the know that this is happening. So could police be acting on their own? Do you think that is possible for the police to act on their own?
In an ideal situation, in a proper society, the police will act independently. But in this situation, we see the hand of the executive in it. The police wouldn't come out and say, oh, the president told us to do it, the vice president told us to do that, the minister said this. They wouldn't. They will say they are acting on some intelligence report that they can't tell us. They will say it's classified.
It's classified.
In proper societies, the police can take action based on whatever security report they have, yes.
Okay.
But in the Nigerian situation, I don't think it is just the police acting on its own.
So it wasn't the police acting on their own. So there's
because if look at it from this angle, if the speaker was unable to get into that chamber and they were able to form a quorum, in fact, anyway, maybe we'll get to that later, because that is a fundamental problem with the present Nigerian constitution. If other people, because the speaker, decamped, and if the other legislators are able to form a quorum, and what do they require to form a quorum? Just 1/3. So if 1/3 of the 360 are sitting there, and they decide to impeach the speaker, it becomes law. It stays.
Okay.
Maybe that was what they were trying to do. People were allowed.
No, I don't think so, comrade, because Tambo actually received the letter, just like David Mark also did. So the Senate received one, and the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, also received one as well. So I guess they were trying to respond to the president's letter about extending the state of emergency in those three troubled states. So I mean, in the sitting, Tambuwal was able to read the letter of the president to the House, and they had to refer the president to Section 8 of the Constitution that I mean, there will be no need for an additional extension for a state of emergency. So the president should use his executive power to deploy military to those trouble areas. So based on Section 8. So I mean, I never had that feelings that they were trying to impeach.
The question now should be the senators were allowed to get into their chamber.
Okay.
They said they were screened.
Yeah.
They were screened and they were allowed.
Mm-hmm.
The House of Rep members were not allowed to enter, even after being screened. That is why why did they not allow them even after being screened? This is their office, so to speak. This is their place of work. Why will you lock someone out? If you said they have some thugs with them, they have some miscreants with them, okay, they have an excuse. You took away the man's security, he got his own security. So why will you now stop him? You know the man, everybody knows Tambuwal.
Yeah.
You let the man go and you can stop the rest people.
Exactly.
They didn't do it well. They didn't do it well. They didn't do it well at all. They didn't do it well at all,
okay.
in my opinion.
All right. Okay. I'll come back to you again because I'm trying to get us clip, but it seems we're having a lot of technical difficulties today. But I'll come back to Comrade. Comrade, do you think there was any sort of conspiracy? Maybe they're trying to impeach Tambuwal. Was that your reaction? I know you just told me, but I'm just trying to see if you actually look at the other way. Comrade Adete actually saw the whole thing.
No, I mean, I've told you anyway from the word go. I mean, I don't believe in a conspiracy theory in the first instance.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But you know, when you operate in a land of
1,000 satires,
in a land of 1,000 satires, you don't actually have any clue. Because as you try to solve one problem, another one will erupt. So nothing has been solved actually. But what I'm relating to presently is that okay, this one has happened. It has happened.
Okay.
What next?
Okay.
I always like to look ahead, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
before you know what is happening, something else is going to happen next week.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes I understand your I mean the way you look at things, but and again we don't want to we want to learn from history. History is very important.
That is the question that I ask. I said, what next?
Yeah.
And you know that is loaded. Have we learned anything from this at all? Will it repeat itself?
So what can we do for this not to repeat itself? Because
the lawmakers that are involved, what is going on in their head? I mean, you know, I'm a public commentator. But those people that are involved, what is their thinking?
Okay.
What is going on in their head? That is the question we should be asking.
We can't really know what's going on.
Yeah, you know, one of the most, the safest car in the world.
Yeah.
Is Volvo. And why is Volvo one of the safest cars in the world? Is because the wife of the engineers involved in the production was involved in a motor accident, and then I think she died or something wrong with her neck.
Okay.
And then the husband decided that okay, we are going to make Volvo one of the safest cars in the world. And they did. So what is happening is that okay, when you pass through a situation, that is what I'm trying to bring it to this into discourse.
Okay.
When you pass through a situation, you learn from that situation, and you vow that okay, this situation will not repeat itself again. From the picture that I've seen, I learned that okay, this kind of thing happened in 1962 or thereabout in Nigeria. And so it's like okay, history repeating itself, which means we have not learned anything. And okay, are these people now going to put in place solutions that this kind of thing should not happen again?
So who had to put solution, because this trouble actually was triggered by the police who was supposed to maintain peace and
so on whose order are they? Who are they who are they obeying?
Okay.
Where do they get their order from?
Okay, let's listen from the horse's mouth. Let's get it from the horse's mouth. So let's listen to this.
Situation that we saw a couple of days ago at the National Assembly, and whose instruction was it that the police should go out there and cordon off a place that one would expect could only happen with the authority of the Speaker and the Senate President?
Well, it was indeed a sad development, but there was a build-up to that. You will recall that there was a mini convention held by a party, the All Progressive Congress, in Abuja, at Eagle Square, on Wednesday, through which the entire team, led by their leaders, marched and besieged the police forces. For hours, they stopped our business from going on, and it was a very grave assault on Nigeria police. But thank God nothing happened untoward. In the course of it, they made proclamations that what happened in Nigeria police was just a tip of the iceberg. That they will invade the National Assembly, they will invade INEC, and subsequently the presidential villa. So police intelligence was strong that on Thursday, on the day the Senate will resume business as well as the House of Representatives, that there could be problems. That first plan to invade the place and make it not proper for the conduct of business. And it was police responsibility under the law to protect life and property. National Assembly is our monument, it's our heritage. We will not allow it to fall into the hands of non-doers. So it was based on that intelligence that the police deployed men and material to protect the legislature, the members of the National Assembly, and the edifices from such assault. That warranted police presence and then the subsequent events that took place.
Okay, let me ask very pointedly, when you have intelligence such as this, what should be the standard procedure? Is this something that is dealt with by the Inspector General of Police and he takes action on it? Or is it something that you have to go to get clearance from the presidency for him to take action? Because there are all kind of allusions and all kind of misunderstanding of what that procedure should be. What should it be? Do you go to the presidency to get clearance?
The General Police is the commander of Nigeria Police. He gives directives on the operations of his officers and men. And once we have an intelligence, we go ahead and execute it, because if we do not, Nigerians will blame us and then we are not living up to our duty. What we did was a police operation backed by intelligence.
Okay, so, Mr. Ojukwu, if you had to shut down the National Assembly, wasn't there a way of letting the honorables know so that they wouldn't show up at all? And having shown up, wasn't there a way of identifying them as opposed to those you claim were coming to invade the National Assembly on that morning?
There was no intention to shut down National Assembly. There was no invasion of assembly. What we did was to cordon the place and screen members as they were coming in. And those who had no business in National Assembly, our intention was to shut them out. But there was a commotion and it became a free-for-all. All manner of persons entered the hallowed chamber and caused mayhem, assaulted the law and order, and disturbed the peace.
Okay, Mr. Ojukwu, the final thing we would like to ask you is, you have seen what has happened. Even you would accept that this is an embarrassing situation for the entire country, not just the police in Nigeria, but the entire country. Do you think that the Nigerian police should be apologizing to Nigerians for this embarrassment?
I don't know why the police will have to apologize for doing its work. If we fail to act and National Assembly is destroyed, we will be blamed. What we did was done in line with the law.
You're saying that there is absolutely no apology, and it is in line with the law to keep the lawmakers away from a place that is deemed as their home.
And to tear gas them.
If you hold the clips properly, because I'm happy the media carried it and showed all that happened. We saw vehicles were being used to push down policemen in uniform. That's an assault on democracy, it's an assault on law and order. It is disgraceful to use a vehicle to run down a police officer in the line of his duty. Because if he was run down, that would have been a man of one, that would have made his wife a widow, his children fatherless. Some of those people who were in that premises had not been in there. They were the ones that attacked the policeman, pushed him down, and the tear gas exploded. If you hold the video properly, you find out there was no direct shooting of tear gas at the lawmakers in that premises.
Well, the person who's the spokesperson for the National Assembly, particularly the House of Rep, he made it clear that tear gas did fall right in front of the Speaker of the House of Rep, Right Honorable Aminu Tambuwal. He said that, and I don't think he was lying.
I cannot confirm that. I did not see it on the clip, and we don't have any contrary evidence.
Okay, well, we will have to leave it there. We thank you very much for sparing time to.
Okay, that's it. I just wanted us to hear everything the PPRO for the police actually said. That's Mr. Ojukwu for the Nigerian police. So he said he acted based on intelligent report, because if you all recall, there was a convention or sort of a rally of the All Progressive Congress this past week, and he said the APC rally actually prevented them from carrying out their daily duties that day, and they had some intelligent report that come Thursday that some thugs are gonna invade the National Assembly, and that was the reason they had to act the way they did. So I'll come back to you, comrade, again. Comrade Olawale.
Yes.
Oh,
you want me to?
hello? Oh,
Yeah.
you're cutting in and out.
No. Okay. But I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any reaction based on the clip you just heard?
Yeah, I have a lot of reactions to it.
Okay.
That guy, he seems to be telling lies.
Oh.
I don't like people telling lies. What kind of intelligent report? Was there no intelligent report in Shibok? But when they want to show their oppressive face, they always claim this intelligent report and this intelligent report. And despite their intelligent report, what happened? Was there any talk among them?
We didn't see them in the video though. So
yeah, so we all see the video and then we all saw what happened and some other stuff. Well, I think what is happening is that I think the Nigerian police, they are just too more powerful. They are just a bit too powerful in the democratic system of government. I think what we need to do is to put them in their position where they are supposed to belong on that democratic system of government. They are not above the law.
And that's what we want to talk today. We want to talk about corruption and impunity. So, I mean, this is purely impunity. It's like if police could chase lawmakers. These are lawmakers.
Yeah.
I mean,
so who put them there? Who are paying who signed their budget? Who decide how they should operate?
Let's listen to what this lawmaker said. It's very funny. I just want us to listen to this as well. So let's listen to this.
There is no greater emergency in a democracy than when you attack parliament. If that extension of emergency must be made, it must include the FCT, where the legislature, where the sovereignty of the people reside, is being tear gassed. How many people will they kill? How many people will they kill?
So he said, "How many people will they kill?" Let's take this call. We have a caller. Let's take this call. Hello, who joined? Hello.
Yemi on the line.
Oh, Yemi just joined. Okay, Yemi has joined all the way from Canada. So that's Yemi, comrade Yemi as well. All right, so we'll come back to you, Yemi. Comrade Olaole was trying to react to this last clip we just played.
So there is it's a situation whereby you have lawbreakers on both sides of the equation. You know, those people that are supposed to maintain laws, they are not maintaining laws. They are chasing lawmakers. So lawbreakers chasing lawmakers. Turning lawmakers into lawbreakers.
So what the lawbreak? I mean, they have to go. I mean, go for their daily. I mean, to do what they have to do. So I mean, they have to find their way in.
By lawbreakers. So it's not for the lawmakers to go back to the chamber and put lawbreakers in order.
In order, okay.
They should come. They should enforce them. They should bring them. They should invite the Inspector General of Police. They should apologize to the nation.
Yeah, he said they hold nobody apology because they acting.
You make them to apologize. They are not above the people of Nigerians. They are not above us.
Comrade,
pay them.
I quite agree. I mean, we write on the same page. But what I'm saying, the National Assembly actually summoned the IG, and he did not honor that invitation. So he was supposed to show up.
It's very simple.
Okay.
Hold their budget.
Okay.
Don't pay them. Don't sign their budget. Then let us see what will happen.
Don't sign their budget.
They are not powerful. They are not more powerful than Nigerians.
That's correct.
Hold their budget. Don't pay them. And then let them go on. Let them go on strike. And then you sack all of them. It's very simple.
Oh, so who's gonna join the Nigerian police if everybody's sacked?
Yeah, it's very simple. You put a new order in place. We are in a new world order.
Yeah, I mean that's
not under dictatorial regime.
I'm so glad everything is kind of boiling down to corruption and impunity, because that's what is playing out right now. If law, what do you call them now? The police are law maintainers. They are lawbreakers. But they are supposed to maintain peace, right? Maintain the law.
But they are breaking it.
They're breaking the law. Quite unfortunate. All right, I'll give you a take, Comrade Yemi. I know you may have one or two things to say before I come back to Comrade Adete. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm really not surprised at what transpired, and the Nigerian system is a lot of people are above the law. The police force is really not to. You can't. They are one of the institutions that chased me out of Nigeria. Anytime I see a police checkpoint, I'm really very scared. I really get very nervous and scared of the police.
But they already stopped that. There's no checkpoint.
No. Yeah, I know, but that's how scared I am. I'm just trying to tell you the level of. The police is meant to be your friend, but actually it's the opposite in Nigeria. And now coming to lawmakers, it shows the level of irresponsibility. I'm not even trying to take side APC or PDP. They've been in how many laws have they actually implemented to be able to correct this police menace, to make them more effective? Right? They've not done anything. So it's lack of not doing their job results to what they get, and that takes me back to the problem of leadership. The leadership we've had in the last 16 years, things are not getting better. A country that has gone through democracy for 16 years, all our institutions should be functioning, not 100%, but at least over 50%. And if all our institutions, I mean the legal, the justice system, the security services, fire services, the education sector, teaching, all these institutions should be working independently. And even INEC should be able, all these institutions, if we actually build them the way they ought to be, a lot of things will be moving faster than the way we are. But everybody's working in silos. Everybody's powerful. Everybody's untouchable. And I don't expect the police force to look at what they did. Do you know the embarrassment is to the whole world, the kind of democracy we are operating? you imagine, I don't want to compare Nigeria with other countries, but imagine a senator being shot at, tear gassed. It's appalling.
It is. All right, we're gonna move to the other topic. I guess we've done enough about this gate jumping and the rest. Well, law maintainers, people that are supposed to maintain laws are breaking laws, and people that are supposed to make the laws are not even making any laws. So it's quite unfortunate where we find ourselves as Nigerians. All right, I'll go straight to, it's still part of the topic as well, because what led to the House convening that day is because they received the Speaker of the House. I'm kind of confused coming to what Comrade Dele used to say, like there's too much abracadabra in Nigeria, because it seems the executive arm doesn't recognize Tambo as the Speaker, but at the same time, the letter that the President wrote to the House, to the National Assembly, was actually addressed to the Speaker, and at least we don't have another Speaker for now than Honorable Aminu Tambuwa. So he was trying to go in to respond to that letter received from the executive arms of the government. So now, and this is all about the extension of state of emergency in those 3 states. So what the lawmakers are saying is, we've had these things September 2013, and this is 2014. I mean, it seems the curfew or the state of emergency is now really working. Maybe we should try other means. And what is suggested is maybe the president should use his power. I mean, based on what we have in our constitution, they said Section 8. So he should deploy, and which the government has been doing. Maybe we haven't done enough to combat the insurgents in those 3 states. So what's your state? So before this escalated, my thought was, when the news came out, was like, do we need to extend the state of emergency, considering the fact that there's an election coming up? And so do we really need it? Despite, there was a time, if Comrade Adeta, if you could remember, I was asking that question, that is the state of emergency still going on? So, and you said we weren't so sure at that time. So, to my surprise, it was actually on and just got expired maybe last week, and the president is trying to get an extension. So should we continue? Should the House, this has actually divided the House right now. So the House are divided into 2. The Senate have been divided. The House of Representatives too have been divided. So should I guess, let me just make it precise. Should they approve this extension or not? Comrade Dele?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Comrade Dele, I'll come back to you. I wanted to say Adete. Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
My answer is no.
Okay.
They should not extend nothing.
Nothing. Why?
Why do we have increased Boko Haram activity every time the state of emergency is about to expire? What have we done with the 2 previous states of emergency?
Emergencies.
I know Comrade Olaole doesn't like conspiracy theory, but this is what I think is going to happen. When you have a state of emergency, the president has the power to appoint an administrator.
Yeah.
We are going to have elections in 3 months.
Less than 3 months, yeah.
Yes. And then if they approve this state of emergency, they have given the president the power to appoint administrators. And then there will be relative calm around that time. And then they will have elections. And then they will get all the votes. That is why I don't support that. The past 2 state of emergencies that we've had, what have we achieved? There is nothing new they're going to do that the president doesn't have the executive powers to do right now. My friend in the army, I always refer to this, my friend, because we speak every 3 days. I want to make sure he's alive. He told me that one of them is in the artillery corps. He's stationed in Damboa. That is the middle of their barracks, and the middle of their barracks and Sambisa.
And Sambisa Forest, yeah.
Yes,
Damboa.
that is where he's stationed. He said, he told me how their weapon gets overheated, how their weapons don't fire. He's lucky to be an artilleryman because the gunners, the people in the infantry, they still have AK-47, and that gun jams. You fire 3 rounds, the gun jams.
It doesn't trigger again.
You can't blame these people for abandoning all these things, all these archaic weapons they have. So why can't, do they need state of emergency to equip the army? No. Do they need state of emergency to gather intelligence? No. Do they need a state of emergency to do what they should do?
The needful?
No.
No.
So the president has all he needs from the Constitution to act without a state of emergency.
Without a state of emergency.
The state of emergencies did not work. There is no assurance that the next one will work.
Okay, let's play this clip for let's hear from the lawmakers themselves. So this is from the House of Representatives. Let's see what they say.
After overcoming the resistance posed by the police at the gate of the National Assembly, there was a disagreement among members at the proceedings. When frayed nerves were calmed, the lawmakers received a letter from the president requesting for an extension of the state of emergency before proceeding into an executive session.
It has become imperative to request the approval of the House of Representatives for extension of the period for the state of emergency for a further period of 6 months. In view of the foregoing, I must respectfully request honourable members to consider and approve by resolution the extension of the proclamation of the state of emergency by a further period of 6 months from the date of expiration of the current period.
For over 1 hour, the lawmakers considered the events of the day. The outcome of the session was not disclosed when plenary resumed. The lawmakers advised the president to rely on his constitutional powers to deploy troops to trouble spots in the country.
Vis-a-vis the provision of Section 217, Sub 2C of the Constitution, the President should rely on that particular provision in using the armed forces of the Federation to address the issue of this insurrection till we will have the opportunity and privilege to pass the emergency rule in line with his demands. But for the time being now, if the House will agree, I will move a motion today that the House do adjourn till the 3rd of December, as we normally propose because of this emergency rule. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I so move.
For circumstances beyond our powers as parliamentarians, because we are under siege, we are unable to attend to this request. However, we are calling your attention to these provisions of the Constitution. If you so desire, you may take advantage of them, leverage on them, and continue to maintain security and order of those frontline states.
The House adjourned plenary to December the 3rd, which has technically ended the emergency rule.
Okay, so technically the emergency rule has expired, and we just heard the speaker said, well, the presidency should the president should leverage his power. I mean, what's in the Constitution to maintain peace in those places. So I'm coming back to you, Comrade Dele Olawale.
You want me to react now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we just have to, as we are talking about state of emergency, whether to extend or not to extend. I just did a quick search.
Okay, good.
The government may declare that the country is in a state of emergency. This means that the government can suspend and or change some functions of the executive, the legislative, and or the judiciary during the period of time. It allows citizens to change their normal behavior and orders government agencies to implement emergency plans. Do we have this place? Do we have all this in place in Nigeria? I mean, that part of the world as of now. The answer is no. What happened to the state of emergency already declared? It has not been working.
It's not working.
It's like a toothless state of emergency. Why it is implemented, only government, only Jonathan knows anything about that one. So it's not working, it's not functioning, it's not doing anything. Instead, many people have been killed under state of emergency. The state of emergency is supposed to prevent chaos and disorderness in any society, but that is not happening. So why should they continue to do this to impose to a state of emergency that is not working?
Exactly.
So it doesn't make any sense to me that okay, they keep on saying okay, you have the power to do this and power to do that. The federal government is not doing what it's supposed to do. Period. And they are the only one that can answer why they are sending state of emergency.
But when you say the federal government, that's all of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you talk about political abracadabra, that is what they are playing. It's nothing. You don't get any clearer picture of what is happening in the country. You don't even know who is in charge.
Okay, because from what I've been hearing from the APC camp, like you said, there's a conspiracy. I mean, this is all politics. This is politics playing out. Because what the APC will say, they will say no, they don't want any state of emergency in those states, because just like what Comrade Adeita just said, so I don't want to repeat what he just said. Okay, I will come back to Comrade Jemmy. You there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, what's your comment on that?
Yeah, I heard what everybody said, but I'm really deeply concerned about the people that are dying, and I think either you're APC or PDP, there should be a level of responsibility from every arm of government to solve this problem, and that is not happening. And we keep on hearing bomb blast here, bomb blast there, and people are dying constantly, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So I am surprised that the House, they're talking about the extension of emergency rule. The question is, why do they have to wait till this time to talk about it? Well, there's not enough push from the Senate and the National Assembly to solve this problem. I can bet it that if there was a bomb blast in National Assembly or Asu Rock, they won't take it as lightly as they've been taking it. Chibok girls have been kidnapped for God knows how many days now, and it just seems that everybody's just doing their normal business. It shows the level of irresponsibility from all arms of government. They don't care about Nigerians. And the sad thing about it is that the Nigerian people themselves are not even, very few people. There's the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. There's a lot of fight against corruption, and the Boko Haram scam. But pockets of people demonstrating. But at this point, I think everybody, both Christian, Muslims, irrespective of tribe, should be calling this government. It is even enough to impeach the president, but we're not seeing this. It's so sad. People are dying. Kids, young kids going to school are dying. The last bomb blast was it in Kano that they said almost 79 people were injured, over 40-something people dead. Kids, children in high school, and they're talking about emergency rule now. I just feel they are irresponsible.
Yeah, irresponsible. Thank you, Comrade Yemi, all the way from Canada. All right, I want us to move ahead, but before we do that, we're going to go on a short break, and we'll be right back after the break. So let's go on a short break.
Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy.
Do you need quality, but yet affordable furniture? Distinct Furniture offers a better way to shop for your home. We offer thousands of quality and stylish furniture pieces with affordable pricing and in-home delivery. Visit our online showroom at www.ufusa.net and call us at 972-866-46. Are you a small business wanting to upgrade your website or get a new website? You deserve a website that turns your prospects into paying customers. We'd love to hear from you. Contact Distinct Communications 972-866-4665.
Okay, welcome back to Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. Distinct Politics is brought to you by Distinct Radio, the U.S. #1 Nigerian community radio. You can log on to our live stream at www.distinctradio.com or download our app on your Android and BlackBerry phone, Distinct Radio on your app store, or you can simply call this number on the go, 857-232-0137. Once again, it's 857-232-0137. It's a live show going on now, and we shall be talking about corruption. I mean, that's on the top of my heart, like corruption, impunity. How do we differentiate? I mean, I don't even know. Maybe I should ask Comrade Dele Olawale. You should be able to educate us on this, because you are a senior laborer at Nigerian United Against Corruption. So you must be, you must have, a profound knowledge in I'm not saying you corrupt, but about corruption. So just to say, all right. So we want to look into corruption in the land. The reason I brought this up was, I was just on YouTube trying to listen to some stuff on corruption. Then I stumbled on this clip. It's the probe. If you all remember back in 2012 when we had the pension fund probe. So the Senate leader then, Victor Undoma Egba. So his dad was shortchanged. So the dad, which was a retired, I guess maybe a justice in the Court of Appeal, was entitled to take 7 million. He saw 7 million right in front of his name, but they said, you know what? We know it's 7 million. But if you really need this money, you have to do away with 2 million. So he said, my dad was defrauded 2 million. And this is somebody whose son, he's a Senate leader. He's a Senate leader in the Nigerian government. So what's if we talk about the ordinary man like me on the street, so what will be our fate if people can be so corrupt and they don't even care who you are? Corruption is just like a normal day-to-day activity that happens in Nigeria, in civil service, everywhere you go. So, Comrade Dele Olawale, let's break the highs with you. So, corruption, where do we start?
Yeah, it sounds like a mouthful word to pronounce,
Corrupt.
But it has become a daily word to be used in Nigeria every day. Even when an akara, a woman frying akara, increase the price, is corruption.
How would that be corruption? That's
So when before we started NOAC, or during the process of this Nigeria United Against Corruption, I've gone a little bit further to actually understand that, because it's always better to understand what you are fighting. So that before those things can fight back at you, you have to really understand where we are coming from. How old is corruption in Nigeria, for example? That was the question that I've been asking myself. When did we get into the mess that we now find ourselves? We are the president of the country. We now tell you that, okay, Nigeria is not a corrupt country, but we have thief.
Yeah.
So how does he define thief? And then who is a thief? A thief is somebody that has no moral stance.
No moral, yeah.
That see what does not belong to him, or something that is not his. And then when you now take that one, and then corruption is just a compound word that encompasses all these type of moral deficiencies into society. So whether you are a thief, or you are a pilferer, or you are in the market, you use plastic, you shrink the size of the plastic.
Oh, you are a klepto.
Yeah, you shrink it in order to, you are supposed to sell 1 kilogram of gari. You shrink it and then you now have 800 grams or something like that or less. So it's part of what we are talking about in that society. The society is so corrupt. I think there was one of CIA, there was a CIA or FBI member that traveled to Nigeria. And on the same week, he obtained all the papers in Nigeria. Marriage certificate, affidavit, driving license.
He got everything he needed.
1 week.
Ninja.
Yeah, just like that. And these are the things that might take you ages or years or never in some society if you go through the normal process and through the normal procedures. But let me just in philosophical, theological, or moral discussions, corruption is spiritual or moral impurity or deviation from an ideal. Corruption may include many activities, including bribery and embezzlement. But it could be more than that. When you look at Nigerian society, it's even more than all this kind of thing that we are talking about. When you call your child that, if you do this, I give you this, you are corrupting that child. That child will grow up into that society thinking that, if he doesn't get anything, he cannot do anything. So he will always be looking forward.
But comrade, let me chip in there because this is America. I'm sorry, but comrade Adeite might attest to that. Many Americans might quite disagree with what you just said because there's what we call tip. We tip people, but that is
legal. That is legal corruption.
That's legal corruption.
Legalizing corruption.
Corruption. Okay.
Yeah, you can legalize it.
Okay.
Because all the things we are talking about, all this, if you go to any office in Nigeria, you want to obtain a paper or something like that, you have to part with certain money. If the government has said that, the cost of obtaining this form is $500. I mean, it's 500 naira.
Okay. Comrade, let me just. But in like you said, it's a legalized corruption. But this is after the service. I'm not bribing. I'm not giving you money to give me the best service.
They are factor it into the cultural. Edits or whatever edit in that society.
Yeah, but it's optional. If I enjoy the service you rendered, I mean, it's just a way to appreciate you. Okay, this is a token. I thank you for what you've done, but that doesn't mean I have to pay you ahead just for you to give me the best. So
that is aftermath. It's not pre.
Okay.
In Nigeria, you do that ahead.
Yeah, that's corruption then.
And that is corruption. And now it depends actually.
Okay.
Because if you offer me a service, and then I was so happy, and then I tip you, that is okay. That is gratitude. Show some kind of gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude.
No problem. But again, it depends. Maybe if the service is not completed, and then I tip you, which means I'm bribing you ahead of my coming next time. So if you do anything after the service has been completed, you are satisfied. It's completely different matter.
Okay.
But if I have to bribe you ahead of time or something like that, favorism, it's another. Like when we were at Federal Road Safety those days, some drivers when they meet road safety members at restaurants, they want to pay for the food that they had. And then the road safety people are now saying that, you should not take such a bribe. It's bribing you because next time when that driver commit an offense on the road and then you stop him, you say, guy, you don't know me. I was the one that bought you food.
Bought you ever.
So you will not have any, you will be shocked and then you will not be able to perform your duty.
Yeah.
So there are many ways. It's a little bit delicate, how you actually position yourself in the society that is so corrupt, not to do certain things. But the moment you have to offer something to get something, then it becomes a serious matter.
I'm just as you're speaking now, something just came to my mind that maybe this is what might be going on in the president's mind when he said what we have in Nigeria is stealing and not corruption. Because can you help me define corruption? Once again, before I make the statement.
Okay, I say corruption is spiritual or moral impurity. Just use the word moral impurity.
Impurity. So, well, what can be classified as moral?
What I can tell you is very simple. In the modern age, is that okay? You have a disk, you have a hard disk, and then you can talk about corrupt disk.
Yeah.
What that means is that okay, something is wrong. You are not able to access the data on that disk.
It's corrupt. Yeah, we use that.
It's corrupt. And it's like, okay, for anything to be corrupt, it has to be an external influence. It's not internal, it has to be external influence. And it is that external influence that will now trigger certain things inside you that will make you perform some kind of moral impurity.
Okay, comrade, we're gonna come back to you. I know you have so many things to say. The 20 billion that was declared missing at the time of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi SLS. Well, now there's no money missing again.
Yep.
That is a past. That's past tense. And now the Lawan Farouk. I know that case actually came up this week, and I'm sorry I didn't take note of that, but I knew the judge that was supposed to preside over his case actually resigned or something like that. So, okay, Comrade Adeta, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Okay, all right. We need. What's your comment on corruption? I know you also have a lot of experience in that environment.
I happen to have been on the two sides of corruption.
Oh.
So, when I think corruption, I think of this Latin phrase, quid pro quo. Something for something.
Something for
you
something.
Exchange something for something, like the comrade said.
Yeah.
Now, gifts at times can turn to bribe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give you an example. I am a probation agent. I have people the court directed me to supervise. Imagine me going into a restaurant and one of the offenders on my caseload buying me dinner. Okay, it's a gift, right?
Yeah.
But then I could lose my job for that because I have established a conflict of interest.
Yeah, there's there's a double standard there. Yeah.
Like the Yoruba people will say, "Moti je dodo."
So dodomo.
So that is why people that are, especially law enforcement officers, should not be taking such gifts. And when our president came out and told us corruption is different from stealing, then I tried to find the definition of stealing.
But coming to the Latin word you just said, something for something, those people are not getting anything for anything. They're just stealing our money. I mean, they don't need anybody to tip them to do anything. All they do once they get allocation, if you are representing your constituency and you get allocation or something to be done in your constituency, you take the money, you put it in your account, or you take it abroad and nobody to ask you where's the money. So isn't that stealing? Should we still classify that as corruption?
It is corruption because they got something that they were supposed to exchange for something.
Okay.
But they did not do it legally. Of course, when you buy and sell, you exchange something for something.
Yeah.
That is not corruption. That is buying and selling. You pay $10, you get your $10 worth of grocery. That is okay. So we give these people 20 million or whatever million we give them in Nigeria to spend on their constituency, but they take it, and pocket it. Now, let's assume this is stealing and not corruption.
Okay.
What does the criminal code say about stealing?
I don't have the constitution, right? You can tell us.
Let's define stealing. To steal means to take
what doesn't belong to you. Yeah.
The permission. To take something you don't have the legal right to do. I have seen people in court that they took their friend's thing, and the friend went to court and they are charged with stealing, petty theft.
Yeah.
So that is wrong. So if the president knows that stealing is going on, how many people have they tried for stealing?
Okay.
Okay, we accept they are not corrupt. They are just thieves. They steal.
Okay.
What have we done to them?
To them. Okay, let's listen to what the president had to say about that. So let's listen to this. This is very interesting.
This year's Nigerian Economic Society Conference is unique in several ways. They chose to discuss institutional reforms and economic development, issues the president says are timely. He told them what he has done so far using institutions of government, but he challenges Nigerians to also get involved in the fight against corruption.
To bring corruption down in Nigeria, it's not just blaming government or blaming police, but all individuals must frown at people who have what they are not supposed to have, who live in houses they're supposed not to live in, who drive cars they're not supposed to drive, who wear suits more expensive than and until we as Nigerians are able to do this, then invariably we are all rewarding corruption. And until we stop that, I don't think we'll get to where we want to go.
The president was reacting to the keynote address by a professor of economics from the Columbia University. He identifies what he calls perceived corruption as a clog in the wheel of progress of institutions in Nigeria.
Comparing different entities.
Okay, so you see the audience there applauding the president, and this is what everybody's saying, and I mean, this is what every one of us know. So are we just hypocrite? Like, we say things but we don't put them into actions? Because the president said we should question people that, I mean, people, you know, their salary is no more than 7,000, or how much is the minimum wage, like people in civil service. Their take home is no more than maybe 40,000 a month, but they drive the cruise, the Mercedes C-Class and the rest, but nobody's questioning anybody. So the president said we should stop blaming the government, stop blaming the police. We should blame ourselves as Nigerians. So I'll come back to Comrade Dele, but let me take on Comrade Yemi. Are you still with us? Oh, maybe he dropped. All right. Okay. You here? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Yemi. Oh, okay. I thought I heard him say. Okay, Comrade Dele. Okay, maybe you should. Okay, good.
Let's see how, because as we are talking, I have to do some research too.
Okay.
I got a document in front of me. I think it's by a think tank outlet in the U.S.
Okay.
And they are trying to look at how is corruption defined in Nigerian law. And they were asking, actually, what triggered their research is what we are discussing. When President Jonathan said, okay, there's no corruption in Nigeria, but thieving.
Yeah, still.
So what they are saying is that, so is the president right in terms of law?
Okay.
The answer is no.
Oh, really?
Under Nigeria's Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act of 2000, the term corruption does indeed apply to crimes such as the theft or embezzlement of public funds, but also to bribery, fraud, and other related offenses. And in all these cases, it is corruption only if the person in question has carried out the offense through the office they hold. Section 382 of the Nigerian Criminal Code, by contrast, provides a much simpler description of theft, unrelated to the role a person takes in life. A thief is simply a person who fraudulently takes or fraudulently converts to his own use or to the use of any other person anything capable of being stolen. And when you now look at all this, when you look at the Nigerian, when you listen, I mean, in the clips that you played,
yeah,
I could hear some applauses, you know.
Yeah, he was applauded. I mean, he's saying the truth. I mean, there's truth in what he said. I mean,
yeah. So you can hear, but when you place them side by side, there is another PBS clip by Obasanjo.
Okay.
Which was compared with what Jonathan is saying. Obasanjo confirmed that there's corruption in the country.
Okay.
And said that, okay, it will be very difficult to fight.
Okay.
But he will try to do something to fight it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And then this guy is now telling you that, okay, it's thievery that you have in Nigeria is not corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever way you look at it, what is he doing to fight thievery?
Yeah,
these people are stealing public money.
But the president actually answered that question. We've asked that question so many times. Excuse me. And he said, well, we all have institutions, right? We have the EFCC, we have the ICPC. It's not part of the job of the president, or the president portfolio to run after suspected thieves or corrupt politicians. No. We saw what played out in the time of Obasanjo.
We know how this thing works. Casey, you know how this thing works.
How?
EFCC gets somebody arrested. The person is well connected with the presidency.
Okay.
Behind the scene, a letter is sent to EFCC director or the guy in charge of EFCC. That guy is my boy. Don't touch him. We know how it works. So you can say all the finest thing in the world that, okay, you cannot be running after corrupt officers and some other stuff. Make EFCC an independent outlet.
Isn't that what it is?
No, they are still under the control and management of the presidency. The presidency appoint who is EFCC, and he who owns the pipe.
It's still like that even here in the U.S. as well. The president could recommend people for a particular job, and
you are talking of an advanced society where there is oversight.
So how
if they do anything in the U.S., before that guy is appointed, you know the amount of background they check that they will perform on him.
And that's what the president keeps saying. The president wouldn't be the one to do all those things you're talking about, comrade. This is the job
I'm talking about. That's what we are still saying the same thing, comrade. What we are saying is what goes on behind the scene.
Okay.
And not what we are seeing on the pages of the papers or what the president is telling us. They say one thing, Nigeria is a land of abracadabra. They say one thing on the pages of the newspaper, they do exactly opposite behind the scene. So it is only those, okay, maybe you should try to get this guy involved, actually, to get this guy on board. EFCC chairman.
Okay.
We want to talk to him, because anyway, we have some kind of some code that is signed to that will not want to declare so many things in the public.
Let's take this call. Comrade, let's give this caller a benefit to be part of the segment.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to the Stink Politics. Hello.
Hi. Hello. My name is Rashid.
Oh, welcome, Mr. Rashid. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Canada.
Canada. Oh, okay. You're welcome. All right. Okay. You have any comments or contribution?
Yeah. Really, I know what this program is all about, but I haven't been following you for some time now.
Okay.
So I want to believe that you have just discussed the Nigerian politics in general.
Yeah.
But if there is specific that you have just discussed, I would like to know so that I can plug in and give relevant contribution.
We actually talking about corruption in Nigeria right now. So we're looking at what are the causes of corruption and how can we combat corruption. So the president said there's no the problem with Nigeria is not corruption, is stealing. People are just stealing or thieving or whatever you want to call it. So it's just stealing. So do you think the president is right with that statement? Because
that is very bizarre. It is not even a question of whether the president is right or not.
Okay.
In the theory of axiology, which is a branch of the theory of morality,
okay,
there is nobody that will dispute that stealing is bad. There is nobody that would dispute that corruption is not stealing and stealing is not corruption. I'm surprised that our president struggled to draw a line, between these two ill morals. It's also very, very, stunning to hear some Nigerians support the president on this kind of comment. We respect the office of the president. He remains our president. We love him. We wish him well. But this time around, I think we've just got to hit the nail on the head. He didn't get it right. He was very wrong to say that corruption is not stealing. And if corruption is not stealing, the question is, so what is corruption?
Exactly before you came in, and that was what myself as a host and my co-host were trying to we're discussing, because the president has actually answered all Nigerians. We have institutions that are supposed to go after corrupt people, corrupt practices, and things like that. So it wouldn't be the president's job to go after those people. So if you think somebody is corrupt or you think somebody is stealing, so it's like we Nigerians are not taking up our responsibilities. We have representatives in the House of Rep. Do we really ask them? When they come to their constituency, do we ask questions? Most Nigerians don't even know who are their senators or who are their representatives in the House, in the National Assembly. So we can't just blame the government for everything. So that's what we're saying. We can't really blame everything on the government. We have to take responsibilities ourselves.
Now, very good comment. I agree with you to an extent, but not in totality.
Okay.
I'll push everything back to the government because if you take the citizens of other countries, say the United States, say Canada, for example, and you compare the human beings there with the kind of human beings we have in Nigeria, I tell you, they've got the same number of heads, they've got the same number of eyes. As a matter of fact, in many cases, Nigerians are even better than the citizens of other countries in terms of their individual characters, right?
Yeah.
Now, but over the time, they have been under the spell of bad governance. And so that has changed them. It has changed their sense of reasoning. It has changed their sense of morality. And rather than now come to blame the citizens, I'm not totally absolving them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pick up our responsibilities. But rather than come to blame the citizens, I would rather heap all the blame on the government. Now, you do not blame a child that you did not train, that turns out to be bad, or that turns out to be a menace to society. You don't turn around to blame such a child, do you? No, you don't. You would have to blame the dad or the mom.
Exactly. So, and you're quite right with that.
I agree that the citizens have their own responsibilities.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we should shed it off, but I'm saying that we should start from where the problem actually started. Until we get that point right, which is governance in Nigeria, we will continue to have citizens that are very dormant, citizens that are not representative of what Nigeria stands for, citizens that cannot talk, that won't even care about who represents them in the House of Rep or not. So I would rather go forward and keep saying governance has to be better. If governance is better, then Nigerians are the best human beings I have seen on earth. I'm not trying to sound too good about Nigerians, but I have dealt, I've been around for a while. I didn't start my life here in Canada. I came here sometime, so I spent more years in Nigeria, and I've met individuals that are nice. A lot of people are good, but the influence of bad governance over time has turned them into what they are. Rather than continue to blame the citizens, can we push ahead and ask governance to be better? Ask President Jonathan to do the right thing, and if he cannot, then let him leave the seat so that somebody else can come in and do better.
I can agree with you to some extent, not 100%, but to some extent. I guess we're still saying the same thing. So, who's going to tell Jonathan to step aside or to be impeached? It has to be we telling our representatives that go to the National Assembly, those in the Senate. We have to tell them what we want. So, do we have access to these people? No. Is it their fault that we don't have access to them? No. So, we have a lot of questions we need to ask. Like, even here in the United States, it doesn't matter you're a citizen or not. You have access to see your senator when they are in recess. They come back home. You know where their office at. You can always walk in and request if you need help. They can help you out and things like that. But this is not happening in Nigeria. And are we going to blame the politician for that? No. A politician, I read something on Comrade Dele, I read something on Facebook, and this is written by a fellow comrade. Comrade Dele, you know him, he's your friend. He's Comrade Anthony. He said he met the man in a restaurant in Nigeria. I mean, in London.
Right.
Yeah, so he met him and he started asking some questions about the Nigerian politics and what's going on and things. And he said, "Oh, I'm vying for a post this next election, and Nigerian politics it's all about money. If you don't have the money, you have to pay godfathers, you have to pay this and that, and." So eventually now it's like an investment, right? So people will still go to the poll to vote for this guy, and this guy is going to get into that to represent those people, despite the fact he has bribed or given money to some babasale, like they say, it's to some godfathers. Now this is an investment. When you invest your money, you need profit, right? You want to make money from what you've invested. So eventually this guy is going to go there. He's got all the money that was supposed to come back to that constituency will go back to his pocket and to the babasale, the godfather pocket. And nobody is even challenging this guy. So who's going to challenge him? Nobody. So is it the fault of this politician? No. Is it the fault of the president? No. It's the fault of Nigeria. Let's call a spade, please.
Can I say something very quickly?
Okay.
As much as I agree with you that we have our own responsibilities, that I said earlier, I'm not shedding Nigerians off these responsibilities, but I need us to be very pragmatic here. We've got to be very practical, right?
Okay.
When you approach politics, the Nigerian politics as it were, theoretically, yes, you could score 100%. You would be so marvelous talking about the Nigerian politics and how to resolve issues theoretically.
Okay.
Right. Before my coming to Canada, I was a bit involved in politics. I mean, very close to the politicians. Outside the political circle, it was easy to talk theoretically. Nigerians, let us change the governance. Nigerians, how do we approve our government? This is a bad government. You are not doing anything. You are laid back. You've got to push your House of Rep. You've got to push your governors. Now, the reality is this. This is the reality. And I'm going to be very practical. If you decide to okay, let me take a step back. Let me put it this way.
Okay, can you make it very quick because of our time and other comrades would like to make comments before we...
Right.
Okay.
How do you change a government, a sitting governor, for example? How do you chase him out of the seat? Now, I used to be someone who speaks against the political ideology of, I'm sorry, I'm going to mention him here, Bola Tinubu, as the former Lagos. I used to be very, very, antagonistic of his political ideology. But over time, I realized that speaking English in Nigeria, shouting will not, at this time that we are, I'm speaking to the reality, will not change anything in Nigeria. Now, I remember when Gani Fayemi, came out for the post of president. He spoke all the English. We knew he was a good man. Nobody voted for that man. Now, the reality of Nigerian politics is that you need those who will still bribe their way out. You need those who will still, get people to at least be involved in thuggery. I'm not supporting that, but I'm speaking to the reality, please. People who will still move thugs. People who can still share money a night to the electorate so that they can buy their mind. Now, the reality is that we are at the minus zone in Nigeria. We're at minus 100, for example. If you're asking that the Nigerian population should push the governors to get to the positive region, that can never happen. Nobody ever... How can you push your governor? He's got all the power. So what we're asking for is someone who can push us from minus 100 to say minus 90, just like the Lagos State governor has done. He hasn't performed extraordinarily well, but he's done better than other governors. So he's taken us from minus 100 region to minus 90. Let somebody else come, take us from minus 90 to minus 80. Then when we get to the positive region, then we can think that politics in theory, ideologically, can work in Nigeria. But now, you need thuggery. I'm not going to be out if I see gun. I'll get into my house. A lot of Nigerians would run out,
okay,
from the polling booth.
Yeah,
see guns and cutlasses.
Okay, we appreciate your comment, Comrade Rashid. I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt you because of our time. The segment comes up every weekend. It's 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so you can be part of the segment every week. So we appreciate you calling. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. All right. Before we draw the curtain, I want to have. I guess we can only take our last take on the show. I'll start with Comrade Dele. What's your last take?
Yeah, my last take on this one is that the president is wrong with his take on corruption, and I quite agree with you that the people too, they have to do their home bit and some other stuff like that. But we must not forget that democracy in Nigeria is how many years old? And we have not done what we are supposed to do as a nation.
Okay.
Democracy is about educating the people.
Yeah.
You have to educate them. You have to empower them with information. We are not doing that. So we leave our own kind of democratic system of government in the hand of thugs. And that is why we are getting the kind of result that we are getting. It's an institution that must be properly formalized. All the political parties, they must have their own institution whereby they train newcomers about their own ideology. You cannot just, I'm a member of a political party in this part of the world. I cannot just jump that, okay, I want to become the president. The people that is voted as the prime minister or as a president started from maybe age 8 or you have the youth wing. They go through the youth wing and then they come to the next age, and then to the next age. By the time they get to the position, they have gone through all the rudimentary of leadership. They don't just go there and say, okay, they want to bamboozle people.
So it's not a money-making venture.
It's not a money-making venture. And then people must know you. You must be identified. You must be known from your grassroots. And people, your classmates must be able to say one thing or the other thing about you.
Yeah.
But what can we say about Jonathan? Who are his classmates? Can we ask questions? Who was he when he was in secondary school? What about his integrity?
And that's where our media are actually slacking, because we should be doing. I mean, would Jonathan tell you who are his friends and things? No, we should do those fact findings. We should do those things ourselves.
Those findings.
So we should
do that. And then most of these organizations that are springing up here and there, like Fire Song, these are the kind of things they should be doing. They should put a structure in place that we elongate the democratic principle in this country. But what I've been hearing now is that, okay, people are calling for the military to come and take over.
No.
Is that the answer?
No.
When you have not done what you are supposed to have done.
I know. It's like going back to the to the 19th century. This is 21st century.
This is 21st century.
Yeah,
so the citizens have their own roles to play, and then most of these NGOs, they have their own role to play, and then those political parties, they have their own role to play.
Exactly.
They must put an institution in place.
And we citizens, we have a role to play too.
So,
yeah. All right. Thank you, Comrade. So I'm coming to you, Comrade Adeta. Are you there? Hello?
Yes, I am here. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, your last take. We're about to round up.
Yeah. Everything still comes down to the citizenry.
Yeah.
We celebrate these people. When we celebrate them, we give them the power to do whatever they like to us. Imagine someone who, as of 2002, was driving a cab in London, came to Nigeria, became a governor. In a few years, is a billionaire.
Wow.
He went back to London and tried to buy a house cash. He still came back to Nigeria after being impeached and gave people rights and was still made a governor. Because we worship these people. We listen to them. I'm sure all of us listening now, we know at least one person in Nigeria that drives a Range Rover 2014.
Yeah, was the source of his money. We don't know. We
don't ask questions.
But when it comes around, everybody on the street gonna come around. Hey, Babatide, Ekabo, this and that.
Yeah.
The per capita of the whole Nigeria is $5,360 after 2013.
Wow.
Where I live in Maryland, the per capita is 29,000 plus. The average income per family on my street is about $117,000. I have not seen anyone on my street driving a Range Rover 2014 that they bought cash.
Yeah.
If you do, everybody on the street will try to look deeper into what you do for a living.
Exactly. People want to know. They'll be curious.
Yes, we want to know what you do for a living. How could you afford these things?
Exactly.
But Nigerians don't ask questions.
Yeah.
It is time we start asking these people questions.
Exactly. I mean,
we need to ask them questions.
I mean, the president, the former president, Yaradua of blessed memory, when he came on board, I mean, you tell from, like the Bible says, you should tell from their fruit. I mean, you'll be able to know them.
Yes, by their fruit you shall know them.
You shall know them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
When he came on board, he declared, "This is all I got. So just in case I leave, you want to."
Yeah, imagine our president that is telling us that stealing is not corruption. You have to show us that you have the will to stamp out either stealing or corruption or whichever one you choose to call it.
Mm.
When they allege that someone over invoiced some BMWs, there was hullabaloo everywhere, you still left the country, went to Israel with this person.
Mm.
You are not showing us that you are ready to tackle corruption. There is an allegation, right or wrong. The president should at least make scapegoat of certain people.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say a lot of things about Obasanjo. Obasanjo gave us some scapegoat. He jailed some people. All those people that were jailed, where are they today? They are all running back to the Senate. They are running back to the Senate.
And Obasanjo said we had so many 419s in the Senate.
Exactly. A step forward and 2 steps backward.
Exactly. All right, comrade. I know
our democracy is young. 15 years is a long time.
Okay, I guess we'll reserve the rest. Corruption we'll actually have a 15-minute segment every week to talk about corruption, because we need to get to the root cause of this corruption and how to if we cannot eradicate it immediately, how can we reduce it? So maybe from the grassroots, from the bottom-up approach, because it seems the top-down approach is not going to work. Okay, Comrade Amy, I know you're back. What's your last take on the show?
Corruption. That is the major, it's a cancer of Nigeria. And the cancer is growing. It's a big monster now, obviously. But the day we admit, the people in government admit that it is a problem, that's the day we are taking the first step in the good direction. Right now, I would even suggest if we have good leadership, there should be in the educational curriculum anti-corruption courses, because even a secondary school child knows if you tell him to do something, he will ask you, what is my own? What are you going to give me? So it's that bad, and I think it's more from the nucleus of the family to starting from the family of each families in Nigeria. If anybody becomes a counselor, all of a sudden somebody that's really poor becomes really rich. He becomes having mansions here, mansions there. Where he got the money from, they don't care. And that such a person has wife, had kids, and nobody talks. Nobody says, "Daddy, what you're doing is wrong. Why are you doing this?" And
it's at all.
They even encourage the parents to even do it. That, look, it's your time to chop your own and leave the rest. So that's the society we find ourselves in. But if we want a solution, it has to start from the top. I know the responsibility of the masses is there to play, but when
so you said well, I'm gonna cut you short, comrade. I'm sorry, just for the benefit of our time, I guess I want to apologize to you guys as well. This segment was slated for 1 hour, but since the way things are turning out these days, it seems 1 hour is not enough. So we're gonna start. We've already started this week, so it's gonna be an hour and a half. So going forward, so we can prepare for that time. I want to apologize if you had plans before coming onto the show, but I apologize. Just to like what I said, I guess corruption is something we'll keep talking about, even as we talk about the politics. We also want to talk about issues we're facing as a nation, which is corruption. Like you said, it's a cancer in the Nigerian society. So we'll continue next week, and like I said, there's going to be a 15-minute section to talk about corruption every week. I want to thank you guys for coming on board on the Parliament, and let us converge next week again. And for the benefit of our new listeners that are just joining us for the first time, we apologize we didn't have a time to call the number. So if you want to use this opportunity to take note of our numbers, so at any time of the discussion, if you want to call in, you have comments or contributions, you're most welcome. You can always call us at 817-717-5685. Once again, the number to call will be 817-717-5685. And the show is Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. So this is our parliament, and we have 3 people actually from different constituency, all the way from Norway. He's representing all Nigerians in Norway. We have Comrade Yemi representing all the Canadians, Nigerian Canadian. So this is our parliament. So let's meet here next week, same time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, on Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. We thank all our listeners, and we thank our caller, Mr. Rashid, all the way from Ontario, Canada. We appreciate your call. And this is all we could take on the show today, and we'll be here next week. And I say stay blessed till next week.
Thank you.
Crazy, make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy.